And the pitch. Swing and a base hit to left center field. Hank Amelia's going to score. This game is over. On an RBI hit by Mickey Pooh.
Thanks for taking the time to download and listen to the Philadelphia Baseball Review podcast. I'm Patrick Gordon, founder and executive editor of the Philadelphia Baseball Review. Our mission is to cover baseball at all levels throughout the Philly region, with a particular focus on promoting the amateur, high school, and college ranks. Our aim is to tell the untold baseball stories across the Quaker City. So please be sure to follow me on Twitter if you're not already at pgordonpbr. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you may be listening. Also, leave us a review. And be sure to visit PhiladelphiaBaseballReview.com, where you can sign up for our daily newsletter. Now, let's get into today's show. My guest today is one of the top college arms to come out of the Philly area in some time. He was drafted in the 5th round this past June by the St. Louis Cardinals out of Villanova. Pieced together an outstanding first professional season in Palm Beach, posting a 1.73 ERA over 26 innings. Gordon Graceffo, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon, it's had to be a whirlwind for you. I can only imagine the emotions that you've gone through putting together a solid season with Villanova, then getting drafted, and then 10 days after being drafted, basically reporting down to Palm Beach. Walk me through that week, not just the day, but the week leading up to the draft. Did you have people chirping in your ear? Were scouts still sniffing around? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy week, crazy time. But that week, so I had just gotten home from Cape Cod, actually, because I was playing summer ball down there. And then, scouts definitely are still in contact with you up until like pretty much that day, the morning of the draft. But I was kind of just chilling at home, like trying to treat every day as normal. But I think the day before, I got a call from a couple teams, and they said, "Oh, we want you. Like, we're going to do our best to draft you." But obviously, you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, just because that's one scout, it's one guy in the draft room, and he has his opinion, and a bunch of other guys have their opinion. But I got a couple calls from teams the day before. I got a couple calls from teams the morning of, and you just kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, and you just kind of wait for it to happen.
Now, what are those scouts saying when you're getting those calls? And I can only imagine, what's your response to them? Are they saying to you, "Hey, we're really interested. We're looking at taking you"? I mean, if that's what they're saying, what is your response to that?
I mean, I've been a lifelong Yankees fan. And I remember one specific call that I got was from the Red Sox, and I was sitting with my dad in the living room. And I put the phone on speaker, and one of the Red Sox scouts was like, "We want you to be a Red Sox. We want you really, really bad. We're going to do our best to draft you." And I was like, and you just respond, like you just feel lucky to be in that position.
Sure.
And I respond like, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully we can make it happen." Hang up the phone. I remember me and my dad just kind of looked at each other, and we're like, "Wow, like this is real. Wow. This is going to happen." But yeah, it's crazy.
Now, at what point in your career, and this is probably, I would assume, at Villanova, but, at what point did you think, "Hey, I have a legitimate shot here at making this a career"? Was there a specific moment or a turning point where, you went from just being a solid D1 pitcher to, "Hey, I think I have the stuff to take this to the next level"?
I remember freshman year, probably, I think Coach Mulvey kind of put that idea in my head. Just kind of, I can do what I did coming into freshman year and continue to get bigger, continue to get stronger, continue to refine all the aspects of pitching, that I have a shot. And he made it very, very clear that it would only happen if I continued to work. And that kind of lit a fire under me, and I just kind of kept going.
Right. And how supportive was he? I can only imagine, him being a major league, pedigree. How supportive was he and the rest of the staff at Nova for you?
Oh, they were awesome. They helped me so much throughout my time there. I can't thank them enough for what I've done. They've given me so much guidance, so much help throughout my 3 years there. It's been unreal.
Now, I'm really interested to hear your take on this. So, a lot of talk, and rightfully so, has been on housing conditions for minor league players, right? Now, you
Yeah.
were down Palm Beach, a nice place.
Mhm.
What was that like for you? That we've heard now that teams are going to be required to take over and pay for housing and things. Was that an issue for you? How walk us through those of us that may not be familiar with life as a minor leaguer. What was that like for you?
hmm So once I got down there, the Cardinals put me up in the team hotel down in Palm Beach. So it was probably about 10 minutes from our spring training facility, and that's like the team hotel for spring training. But I lived there for about a month, and the first 2 weeks, they took care of the page because everybody's getting all settled. And once I got moved onto the low A Palm Beach team, the cost for the hotel kind of came out of my pocket. So I spent the next 2 weeks kind of looking for a place to live outside of the hotel just because it was more cost effective for me. And a couple guys ended up being moved up to the high A team in Peoria, and spots opened up in a house closer to the facility. It was cheaper, so I ended up living with a few guys kind of down the street from the spring training facility in Jupiter.
But I can envision it being sort of, you're not making a whole lot to start out.
Yeah.
I mean, signing bonuses aside and things like that,
hmm
that it has to be tough for you all to kind of make that work while focusing on, trying to get a solid start to your career.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to kind of tackle all at once. But once you've kind of figure out your situation and you settle in, it gets a lot better.
Now, what has the transition been like for you, Gordon, to making the jump from, pitching at college to now Class A?
It was a big jump. It's a big lifestyle change, which I think was the biggest change. Just kind of you wake up, you're doing baseball for 8 hours, like it's a 9 to 5 job pretty much, and that was the most different kind of aspect of this whole thing. But I loved it. It's amazing. I love focusing on baseball and kind of focusing on how can I better myself 24/7, and I feel like that's going to help me so much.
Now, have you realized that sort of the tricks of the trade as a pitcher that worked, at D1 are not working as well in Class A? I mean, give our listeners some insights there, how that's like as a pitcher. Have you had to change how you go about, attacking hitters and things like that?
So in D1 baseball, you kind of if you make a mistake with location or you throw the wrong pitch in a certain count, maybe they'll put it in play and get themselves out. Maybe they'll hit a single. In pro ball, it's if you make a mistake, it's a double in the gap, and sometimes it's a home run. So it's just kind of being able to fine tune everything to do what you want in a certain count and put a pitch where you want, and kind of keeping that focus throughout the entire time you're in the game.
Right. Now, July 29th, at home against Tampa, right? You make your debut,
Yeah.
toss 1 1/3 innings with a pair. What was going through your mind there when you jogged out to the mound? What did you feel, when you took the ball, and then also when you took the seat in the dugout, when your time was over? Walk us through that day.
So that was the first day I was actually activated on the roster, and they moved me up on I think that was a Thursday. They moved me up on a Tuesday to practice with the low A team, but me and the 3 other pitchers that they moved up at the same time, we could only practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we were actually activated on the roster on Thursday, and they ended up being rained out on Tuesday and Wednesday. So kind of the first game we were there for, we were all active for. And we're kind of sitting in the pen like, oh yeah, maybe we'll pitch today. Like everybody's pretty well rested because they've been canceled 2 days in a row. And I ended up going in the game. They call my number pretty early on, and I mean that was a surreal experience. You kind of once you get on the mound to warm up, it's kind of like it's a whirlwind, and then you get the butterflies running out there, and then once you step on the game mound, it's kind of all you gotta get the blinders on.
Now, when you sat down in the dugout afterwards, like what went through your mind? Like, wow, I can't believe that this is happening. Or was it just like another day in the life of a pitcher?
I mean, you say you like to keep it as another day, but you want to treat it like that. But it was definitely surreal. It was definitely something I'll never forget. But I knew I got that last out, and I knew I was going to go out for another inning. So I was trying to just focus on that, trying to keep my debut solid. So I'm glad it ended up well.
Now, did you were you able to take a ball or anything like that from that game?
Yeah, I did. I did that. I'm taking the ball.
And where's that at now?
It's actually right beside me at my desk here at home.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, it appears for now, at least, the Cardinals look at you as an arm out of the bullpen. How's that changed your mindset? At Nova, you were one of the best starters in the region. Looks like now coming out of the pen, how does that change your mindset?
Yeah, coming out of the pen was definitely an adjustment, especially an adjustment in pro ball. But I mean, I didn't mind it at all. Having my exit meetings with my pitching coach and my manager and the pitching coordinator, the minor league pitching coordinator with the Cardinals before I left Florida. Hopefully, they said that hopefully they'll move me into a starting role when I come back. So they said train as a starter, train as you normally would over the off season if you were going to be in a starting role. So hopefully it stays that way.
Awesome. So it sounds like then you would rather be a starter than coming out of the pen, but you would be happy doing either.
Yeah, I would definitely be happy doing either, but I've definitely been more of a starter throughout my career, and
Sure.
I'm definitely more comfortable doing that. But wherever they want to put me, I'm not going to complain.
Now, what was your biggest surprise about life in the minors? It doesn't have to be on the field, but what is something that maybe you weren't expecting that you experienced, or was it just the camaraderie of the guys? Like what stood out to you as sort of, wow, that really amazed me during your first stint in pro ball?
I definitely the attitude just of all the guys on the team, because you kind of think it's pro ball is such an individual thing because everybody's trying to move up, everybody's trying to take each other's spot. Like it's super individualized, but everybody on my team they were super close. Everybody was a big help. Like I mean, you're bouncing ideas off different guys. I mean, it was like any other team I've been on. Like the camaraderie was great, and I didn't really know how it would be.
Now, one of the unfortunate pieces that has impacted everybody in different ways over the last, geez, it feels like forever, but 2 years, I guess, is the lost COVID season, right?
Yeah.
How did that impact you? How did you keep yourself busy? Walk us through what that year was for you and what you had to do.
Yeah, that was definitely a brutal time in my life and so many other people's lives. But we had gotten off to a great start my sophomore year, and just to see all that end was awful. We were doing so well and it seemed like forever. We hadn't really been doing that great. But yeah, so I got home, just kind of started lifting on my own. Kept throwing, stayed in throwing shape. I ended up going to my pitching coach that I've been going to for a really long time at home, and we worked on a lot of mechanical things. We fine-tuned a lot of stuff, and all in all, I think the COVID shutdown, as hard as it helped me a lot. Just kind of fine-tune myself, my mechanics. I think a lot of the disparity between guys coming back for college baseball in 2021 was how hard they worked over the COVID shutdown and how hard they worked on their own. And I like to think that I am one of the hardest workers in the country, and that I worked hard over the COVID shutdown. That helped me so much to have a great junior year and to end up where I am right now.
Now, you mentioned a pitching coach back home. Is that somebody that is affiliated with Cranford, or?
No, so I've known him since I was probably about 11 years old through my grandpa, actually. But yeah, he's up in North Jersey, Silvio Cinsali. He's been great to me since I've been going to him. He's helped me so much.
Now, is he part of an academy, or is it just somebody that is in the game and that you knew?
Yeah, he's kind of just a private pitching instructor. He's worked out of different facilities. He's had his own places. Like he's kind of all over the place. But I mean, he went to Miami, got drafted in the 4th round. I guess in the 80s or 90s, and I mean, he just knows the game so well, and he's been a big help to me.
Now, you said you're a Yankees guy, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm
So,
contractually obligated not to be anymore, but yeah, I used to be.
yes. Yeah, we got to put the disclaimer in there. But
Yeah,
it makes sense because you're from North Jersey, right up in Wayne?
Cranford, New Jersey.
Okay, Cranford. So, baseball in the Northeast is tough.
Hmm.
And you look at teams down south, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, whatever.
Hmm.
They're outside year round. All the players are playing, high school seasons that last 50, 60 games, some of them.
Hmm.
It's different here in the Northeast. What advice can you offer younger players up here in the Northeast, in the Philly area, that to try and overcome some of these obstacles that are just part of being in the Northeast, dealing with this climate?
Well, one thing is definitely got to take pride in it. I mean, there's only so many Northeast guys and Big East guys, Jersey guys up in pro ball up that get up to the higher levels, and you got to take pride in it. It's a little club that you have to like being a part of. But I kind of treat it as an advantage just because those guys down south, they're throwing, especially the pitchers, they're throwing all year round, and it's as much as they love the game and they want to throw all year round, it's tough on the body, and you have to. There's got to be a point where you take a little bit of time off, and like being in the Northeast, it kind of forced you to take a little time off, which definitely helped me as I've gotten older and I've grown and gotten stronger. And definitely being in the Northeast, when you're not playing baseball because it's too cold outside, take your time playing other sports. I mean, they're going to make you a better athlete. They're going to make you a stronger player in baseball. So you got to kind of have to take advantage of it.
Right. Now, what is your opinion, Gordon, on the showcase circuit? And so many times we'll see, whether it be Perfect Game or other showcase tournaments and things like that, where athletes get on that cycle, and is that always a good move for people? What is your take?
So I mean, it's different for everybody. It's different how you want to get seen. I mean, I never did any of that. I mean, in high school, I really only played high school baseball, and then I worked over the summer. I never did any of those showcases. Never went to any Perfect Game stuff. It's kind of unique hearing about that, especially for somebody that's gotten to the level that I'm at. But it's different for everyone. If I was seen a lot through high school baseball. I went to one camp for Villanova that the coaches asked me to go to before I ended up signing there. But every way that I was recruited was through high school baseball.
Right.
So I can't. It's tough to comment on all that stuff when
Sure.
I hadn't done a lot of it. But I mean, it's different for everybody. I know a lot of people that have loved it, that have made lifelong friends doing it, that have gotten a lot of opportunities, playing in really cool places, playing in front of a lot of great schools, that have gotten a lot of opportunities at some great schools because they played on these teams. But yeah,
Right. Now, you did spend a summer at the college level pitching in the Cape Cod League. What was
hmm
that like?
it was awesome. That is an experience I'll never forget. That was one of the best group of guys that I've ever been on the field with.
And now the living arrangements there, you're with families and everything, right?
Yeah, host families.
So how was that experience? I mean, were you bunking with anybody else, or like that idea of being with the family, playing the games at night, or playing the games during the day? It has to be unique.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique experience. It was great. I stayed with two great people, Steve and Tracy Anzoni. Shout out to them. They were amazing host family. And I lived with Peter Burns, a catcher from Boston College, and Cole Chidoba, a pitcher from UConn. So and they were great roommates. I mean, everybody on that team. We kind of did. We lift in the morning. We go to our game at night, and then after the game, we'd all end up at somebody's host house and just chilling, talking, hashing everything, talking baseball. Like it was a great time. Those guys were lifelong friends.
I still contend that the movie Summer Catch
Uh
is
huh.
is a solid baseball movie.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
um, what is your favorite piece of advice that you've ever received? Regarding your career in baseball and in life in general. What is one piece of advice you've received that that stuck with me, and that's something I'm going to carry?
Definitely guys just getting into like freshmen in college, guys just starting pro ball, just kind of anybody making that transition to another level. Just remember that you're there for a reason and that you belong there and that you're good enough to be there. Like have that confidence. Because I remember coming into freshman year, I I was kind of unsure if I belonged there, all that, and I didn't have a great start to my freshman year. And I remember Coach Mulvey pulled me aside, like literally in the middle of a game. I had a bad inning. He pulled me aside in the middle of a game, took me into like our batting cage, like on the right field line, and he was like, "Listen, you're here for a reason. I want you to stop. I want you to stop acting like you're not good enough to be here. We want you here. We want you pitching this game. Like, have that confidence, have that
Right.
fire, like attack those hitters." And that kind of stuck with me ever since. And anytime that I get a little bit stressed out or unsure, like that's what I kind of go back to.
Now, on the field, is there one moment you look at and kind of just shake your head like, what was I doing there? Is there one embarrassing moment, high school, college, Cape Cod, wherever, American Legion, something that you're like, man, to this day, I still won't live that down in my mind?
Well, as a pitcher, there's definitely a lot of mistakes I've made. A lot of pitches, a lot of pitches that I can go back to, and I'm like, why did I do that?
Right.
But I kind of pride myself on being not only being a good pitcher, but kind of being a good athlete on the field.
Sure.
And so that like includes making plays and getting outs, not like making plays yourself, kind of like PFPs, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And the first opportunity I had at a PFP in pro ball, I threw a changeup. The kid hit a little ground ball to my right, and I was falling off the mound to my left. So I kind of tried to turn around and shuffled, fielded the ball. As I fielded the ball, I kicked the ball out of my glove
Oh,
and then went to pick it up again, kicked it again, and was kind of playing soccer with it, and then tried to pick it up and throw the guy out, and I didn't get the out. And that pissed me off a lot. And that kid ended up scoring. And I just look at that. I think about that all the time, and I'm like, wow, I literally all I had to do was field that and throw it to first base.
isn't it funny how those little moments stick with you? And you'll be pitching in the pro in the majors soon, and you'll think back about that one that damn practice play. It's
Oh yeah.
funny how that works. Now, how about your proudest moment? And we may have touched on that with July 29th, but maybe there's something else that really stands out to you college wise, or even at the high school level. What would you say is your proudest moment on the diamond?
That's a tough one. At every level, there's definitely something that sticks with me. So one would be definitely my debut in pro ball, but one thing that I will definitely never forget is beating Arizona State my sophomore year right before COVID.
Yeah.
That was one of the craziest wins of my life. That was one of the best times I've ever had on a baseball field after a game, and then in the locker room after a win. That was awesome.
Yeah, because they were ranked at that point, if I
Yeah,
recall, right?
they were 3 in the country at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right before the 5-round draft. They had the most guys drafted in that 5-round draft of any team in the country, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Now, what motivates you, Gordon? What keeps you going every day?
My family, they've been such a huge support system for me throughout my whole career, throughout my whole life. Them and I just want to be great. I love this game, and I want to be as good as I can. And I've worked so hard all my life just trying to get here, and I just want to keep going.
Now, you kind of touched on this a little bit too. Your off season, what does it look like? What do the Cardinals have you doing, and when will you be reporting for camp?
Mhm. So I've been working with a personal trainer at the Annex, which is it's a sports performance center up in North Jersey. It's been great. I love it. So I just lift every day pretty much. I've been giving some pitching lessons, trying to golf a lot, trying to get that part of my game better. But I think the Cardinals I'll end up being back in the spring training facility at the beginning of March, and then we'll go through spring training, and the season starts April 8th.
Awesome. Now, are you for hire for pitching lessons? Is there a place people can go and sign up to work with you, or is that something more on a personal basis?
Right now it's a personal basis. I'm trying to get my name out there more, get a couple more clients. I kind of have to find an indoor spot to do it when it gets colder up here, but yeah, that's in the process.
Where can people find you, Gordon, on social media? Is that something that you dabble with?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. People can hit me up through those. It's just both of the accounts are just my name, my first and last name. Very active on both of those platforms.
Awesome. And then my last question for you here, Gordon, and this is something that, I really stand behind. It's one of the reasons why I created the Philadelphia Baseball Review a long time ago. It's why I pivoted a few years back to say, look, I need to do more with the college and high school game.
Mm-hmm.
How do we grow this sport? We're coming off of a World Series that was rating wise poor.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second worst in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
You have pace of play issues. I just got done speaking with Jessica Kleinschmidt from NBC Sports about, things that baseball can do to change it. I personally am not a fan of 7-inning double headers and ghost runners and all these little gimmicky things.
Yeah.
But the fact is we need to do something quick to really grow this game, to get youth back into it, and to retain them. What in your mind is something that we all can do to help grow the sport?
I mean, one thing that goes right to my mind is just kind of letting guys do their thing, like, out there. It's stupid when when guys go out there and they have a personality and they show that they're having fun and stuff like that. Like, frowning upon stuff like that it's taking the game in the wrong direction. Like, the guys should definitely go out there and show emotion and have fun and show that they're having a good time, because people watching, they want to see that. They want to know that this game is fun to play. Like, this, it shouldn't be treated as a job. It's still a kid's game. It still should be treated like that.
Yeah, that part you just said there, where it's still a kid's game, is so true. And I think, whether it be through the showcase circuit or the fight for scholarships with 8th graders, trying to get into college and wherever, I feel like we've lost our way a little bit. I'm heavily involved with my local little league. My son is 7, and hearing some of the parents, and it's just like, whoa. Like Purdue or Vanderbilt, they're not giving out scholarships today. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it is parents trying to live vicariously through their children. Mm-hmm. That doesn't help matters either.
No, definitely not.
So you have all these things going on. Plus, I think one of the biggest parts to me, the World Series, it doesn't matter who's in it, what time the game is, I'm there as a writer and as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, I think, I forget what game it was. It's 11:30 at night, and you're in the 4th inning.
Yeah,
that doesn't help grow the game either.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not. Yeah, I saw a lot of things about that on Twitter, starting the games earlier, and then you get into trouble with kind of like different time zones, stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, you definitely need the younger audience engaged. And going back to what you were saying about all the showcase stuff, people are treating it as a business earlier and earlier in life, and that stuff has to stop. Like the basis of Little League, that's so important. Like, kids learn the game there, and they learn to love it there. And if it's treated like a business, like a job, when you're 12 years old, like, they're not going to end up liking it.
Right. The sad part, Gordon, this will be the last thing I have here, but I got an email the other day about somebody inquiring about a travel team for 6-year-olds. Yeah. And it's sort of like, what are we doing? I'm 38, and growing up, it was 9, 10, 11, you started travel teams, and then you progress, but now we're getting 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And I don't think that's good for the game. But Gordon, look, you are definitely a person that we are going to continue to follow. We wish nothing but the best for you going forward. And I would love to talk to you further, next spring into the summer. Hopefully, good things continue to go your way. And I really appreciate you taking the time here and talking with me a bit.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, Gordon. Gordon Graceffo, everybody.